What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's that time again for Season 2 in our first tier list. That is probably way too early, but we got to get it out there, get our first opinions of all the changes, and it's starting to heat up, guys. Hotter than Human Torches right now within the meta. It's like the devs, they took a blender, got Season 1, popped it in there, dashed a little bit of plot armor on their favorite heroes, and bam, said, good luck, which again means it's time to rank all these. If you're new around here, welcome to the circus. We don't just slap on a list and call it a day. We do two different tier lists here on the channel. One for the low rank or low elo experience. Typically, this has been bronze to platinum, but I'm thinking about making this kind of maybe diamond 2 and below. You know, the ranks where nobody cares about anybody but themselves. Who can run down the middle the fastest and die? And another tier list for the high ranks, high elo, where every pick, miss, sneeze is judged like it's the Olympics. Now, before we get started, guys, a couple of points. First of all, basically every hero is pretty good right now within the game. If this is your first rival tier list, it's typically pretty top-heavy because that's the flavor of rivals. But some heroes are more main characters, and other ones are like more background hero. The Batman and the Robin, if you will. Wrong universe, but you get the point. All right, first up, guys, we start with the Golden God, Adam Warlock, and boy, did he take some hits, obviously, this season. But not only him, but the whole Breakfast Club got nerfed in some capacity, being Mantis and Star-Lord, so that's going to put him down a couple pegs from where I had him on the last tier list that ended in Season 1.5. Not only that, but anytime you have a hero that when somebody picks them, the whole lobby kind of takes a deep breath and they're like, well, I hope he's him. If not, we're screwed. And that's kind of where he's at right now. Not seeing a lot of people play him at high rank. Had him in A tier because of the triple res comp, but I would say the best thing to sum up Adam at this moment, at least in high elo, is that he's on the very edge of falling off a cliff. And you know who's responsible for that is NetEase, because man, they hit him hard. They let him have his passive, and as long as he has his passive, he's going to be a good hero, but he's not what he once was. I have him in B tier for high elo, and you know what? I haven't done this yet, but I'm finally doing it. I've got him in F tier, okay? Full on F tier for low elo. If somebody's locking at him, they're probably in Smurflo. There's a couple heroes here that you think they do better than they do in low elo because Smurflo exists. But for the most part, Adam is all but useless in low elo games. The cooldowns have way too much responsibility. I always say that he has great power, but that does come with the responsibility. And frankly, in low elo, there's just so many better. I mean, even Jeff can spit out the bubbles and probably add more to the team value. So if you're an Adam player, keep going. He's better in high elo, but right now, F tier, B tier sounds good to me. Next up is Black Panther, King of Wakanda. Unfortunately, I've been playing a lot of them. All right, I've been playing a lot of Black Panther lately, and he's a good time. Don't get me wrong. And in the right hands, I'm telling you, he can be crazy, but mostly, he's awful. Mostly. I'm going to have him in D tier for both for a couple of reasons. First of all, he's got bugs going on with his dash resets, so that sucks. But also, you've got flyers, very popular in this meta. They can just rain down hell on the guy. Human Torch being a great example of that. And then when you look at someone like Spider-Man, another dive hero, he's able to get in, get out, not get touched by much. Black Panther is just getting pelted all the time, and his dash is interrupted all the time. And unfortunately, he's just not him or anything close to it this tier list. And so I've got him in D for both. I love the hero. I'm hoping they maintain what his kit does well without, completely ruining him. He's a bit better against heroes like Mantis now because of that health drop, and so he's got some things going for him, but for the most part, he's not good. All right, we got Black Widow, guys, and not a lot has changed, okay? First of all, you've got dive meta, pretty heavy right now with Soul Bond, decreasing in its overall cooldown. You could have more dive heroes out. Spider-Man Venom can make her life hell. I think I am disrespecting her a bit in high elo. I'm flirting with C tier, but ultimately I'm going to go with D tier for high, F tier for low. Guys, I don't know. I think a lot of the time, first of all, games of momentum and just team morale, you pick her already out the gate. If you don't have a Lord icon, your team hates you, and like you haven't even loaded into the map yet. So you've got that battle. You have a battle within a battle, and then you've got the war that is Marvel Rivals, and Black Widow is putting you out there with a soldier down and everybody against you, and so that's what makes it tough. Invisible Woman, Emma Frost, the shield that they can put in front of you helps a lot more, and if you land your shots, you're great. If you don't land your shots, you're useless for the team, and most of the time that's the case with Black Widow, and combine that with an ultimate that's not great unless you have Hawkeye, and so there's just too much going against her for me to like her. D tier, F tier. Captain America, last tier list. I said that I don't even think he's a bad hero. I just think the meta wasn't around him. Now, I think he is a great hero, and the meta's working for him. And so you got the 5% damage buff. Awesome. A new team up with Bucky, sure. The survivability on this guy, though, is always going to be what he does best. I can do this all day. You've heard it in the MCU. It's true here in MR. And I think a good captain can carry games insanely well. If you are appealing for your team, if you're going against their strategists, if you are leading the charge, if you are stalling the payload, you're doing what you need to do. And he's pretty easy to get that gameplay loop down. Now, to get really good at him, it's actually a pretty high skill ceiling. And so, that's for another day. But I do think he's probably, get this, A tier for high elo. I think he's one of the best dive tanks, if not the best right now. And then I'm going to put him in S tier for low elo. I think he's too easy to play. I think that, I think he's too easy to survive while you're playing. And so because of that, low elo struggles with getting him down, and he can single-handedly win objective maps with how hard and how long he survives. Man, if you're a Cap main and you put in the time to learning the ins and outs and the little things, you're feasting, you're eating great. Captain America is definitely on the rise, and I think he's going to stay here for a while, especially while he's got the 5% bonus buff. The world's ahead for this guy. Now, speaking of the other dive tank, the Vanguard, we've got Bruce Banner, who got a lot of love in the buffs, in the buff department. He's faster. His cooldown's better on his bubbles. His team up is great. He's back into the, you're going to get banned a lot of games because the Gamma Squids are good enough to warrant a ban. And so the Hulk, I'm going to have an A tier. I think he does his job better. I think he fits more alongside his teammates. His team ups are great as well. I've got him in A tier for high elo. Low elo, though, I'm putting him down in C. I get it that you get the team up, but Namor is already good in low elo without the Gamma Squids. He's even better with them. But the play style of Hulk, I just have not seen. Learning the ins and outs of a dive tank and knowing when to get out, when not to get out, and getting punished for it. Hulk is probably one of the most punishable Vanguards with how his kit's designed. So even though you can leap faster and do bubbles more, he's still very hard to nail down in low elo. I've got him at C tier. I think there's better options and easier options, especially looking at something like Venom. But at high level play, I like the Hulk there. So I like what's going for him. I personally like a meta when the Hulk is doing well. I think he's a fun hero to watch, and it's the Hulk. Come on now. But yeah, that's where I have him for now. Cloak and Dagger, guys. They've gone up and down with the metas, the seasons. There's a lot going for them. There's a lot going against them at times. But I have them exactly where I've had them in low elo. S tier, easy sauce, man. Just auto aim, healing for days. Auto click dead for the Cloak. The only thing that's bad about playing this character, or when somebody doesn't play them well, especially in low elo, is they're favoring Cloak more than Dagger. If they can manage to not screw that up, then you've got yourself one of the best healers at low elo. The ultimate can, leaves a lot to be desired, and there's things I don't like about it, but ultimately it can even be like follow the purple path to the objective point or to safety, and like people follow it. It's great. It's like holding hands for DPS that don't know how to get the job done themselves. However, in high elo, like the skill cap, like somebody who's, ultimately they're never going to make someone like Scarlet Witch the best hero in the game, although she's a lot better now because there's skill ceiling things going on, right? I think Cloak and Dagger are B tier for high elo, even though it doesn't feel like it all the time. They just don't quite have as much of an impact at the highest levels of plays. However, if I'm playing strategist and I'm just getting bullied like crazy by dive heroes, she can be pretty good for anti-dive. So she's got that going for her as well. I think that's something that people don't realize. The bubble is like probably my favorite ability outside of Loki's lantern. It's just so much healing. And again, forgiveness for players that are overextending and teammates. But again, I'm gonna go B tier for high, S tier for low. Doctor Strange. Oh man, it's crazy, man, that they renamed this guy to Scarlet Witch buff in season 2. I love him. I love the hero, and I think he lost so much of his bite and his aggression and his pressure-making, space-making ability as a Vanguard because of the massive damage fall-off that he had. Unfortunately, there's some heroes that changes happen, good or bad, and you don't really see the difference. Strange, it's evident amongst people that play Strange all the time and don't. Mix that in with Emma Frost, mix that in with Wolverine being less banned, and melee heroes feasting. If it wasn't for Agamotto and Portals, it'd be a lot worse. I've got him in B tier for both, and it pains me to put him there because I love his kit. It also means, though, that less PC or more PCs that are garbage can handle the game because less Portals, so maybe it's a win there. But overall, it sucks after 1,000 nerfs. It's gonna happen. Next up, we got Emma Frost, newest hero in the game, newest Vanguard in the game. Is this with the skin or without? That's gonna change. We're gonna go S tier for high, and we're gonna go A tier for low. I feel like you do have to have some precision with her crystal yanking, and that gameplay loop is so important to build her up to 100 and then really punish people outside of Diamond Form. Diamond Form is great and idiot proof. You can be so good at that thing, and so low elo, she's still gonna be an A and what she can provide. But S tier, I think she's probably always in the starting lineup and is is she the best tank? Like, Groot is the best tank in the game. I hate to spoil it. Is he coming up soon? Oh, he's next. We might as well throw him up there. Groot is S tier for high elo, and he's all the way down in D tier for low elo. So let me talk about both of them. Emma Frost can punish dive, punish bad play, put a lot of pressure, do what Groot does by blocking, healing, not only for the targets she's going after, but, just strategically. She has the whole kit into one, and her ultimate's still great in combo setup. So she's not Groot, though. Groot is probably easily the best tank in the game. The gold star award for him at high elo, the pace that you can dictate the game, the way that you're able to block off tanks and healers and DPS that overextend and getting everybody together in an ult for a final combo. Do I want to say this? I think a good Groot is the best carry in the game. I think so. If you really know what you're doing, and it's shocking, not only from myself, but pro play as well, that he did not get any type of an adjustment. And he got a buff not long ago, too, with an extra wall, reach. So I think that is definitely going to outline the two best tanks right now. But Groot, on the other hand, is always banned. That's the thing. He's always banned. So that he does have that going up against him. In low elo, I wanted to put him in F tier. He's got such a good high skill ceiling. Those walls are the difference maker. And because of how much skill it takes to effectively play those walls for yourself and against the team, and making sure that you have good comms and everything that makes Groot great makes him bad. And I've got him in D tier. And I think that's being generous. It's a bummer, but I want to make sure. This is why I do 2 elo tier lists, 2 ranked tier lists. Because if you're low ranked, I would play someone that's not Groot, lean towards an easier Vanguard. Or just start practicing him in quick play and get good, because if you get good, you'll have the potential to climb a lot easier. Great hero. But he will be banned. All right, next up, we've got the 2 sharpshooters in Hawkeye, and then we'll talk about Hela. Hawkeye first, though. I've got him in A tier for both. Got some nice buffs. They definitely want to see this guy get more play. He is the sniper, right? Pretty much in Rivals. And the guy can do insane burst damage on tanks. The less shields, the better. So Dr. Shields, pretty much that's his name now. Doctor Strange's going down in viability makes him a little bit better too. Easier to pop those shots. You can punish things like the Thing. I'm just doing a lot of puns at this point. And his ultimate, man, is so disrespected. I think he has kind of been good, but then now that he's getting those buffs, it's making even more people play him. At high elo, though, he's not a super common pick. He still gets punished if you don't land your shots perfectly, especially against dive. And so I've got him in A tier, not S tier, because of that. There's another hero that I would play named Hela that we'll talk about in a moment. And then I've got him in A tier for low. Could arguably be B, but right now he's good enough to land that role. And then we've got Hela. I have Hela in S tier for high, of course. Best DPS in the game. And I don't stutter saying that. In 8, I'm going to put her in A tier for the first time in low elo. You've got to hit your shots, and it's quite not there. And I feel like there's a lot of people playing Hela in low elo, and there's probably just better DPS to play at that level of play, to be honest. You can carry great, and if you're just doing amazing, then you probably belong in high elo, right, at that point. So I've got her in A and S. This is the best DPS, though, when played right. Not only is her damage great at short distance, medium distance, it's good at long distance. She's amazing against flying units, which are everywhere at the moment. And she can punish and demand so much respect. Her passive, her team up is broken. Her ultimate is insane. We kind of just, we put the same mixtape in and we put it on repeat season after season. I think this is the last season that she's going to survive. I think they know they're going to have to tame her down, because man, it's like in your face, on a flank, doesn't matter. Hela's the one to pick. She's still the goddess of death. Johnny Storm, I think they lost the memo that Fantastic Four comes out in July, because damn it would be perfect for it to come out right now, because all the whole Fantastic Four, they're all great. They're all goated. And I think this guy has been goated for a little bit, even in season 1.5, but he got buff after buff after buff. And admittedly so, he came out a little bit flat. Wasn't exactly on fire, and now he is everything and more. He's banned all the time in high elo, so you've got that. But his objective presence of just putting up the flame walls and constantly barraging and putting so much pressure and damage and push potential and spacing. He's like a tank that can fly because of the pressure he creates and does some of the role that they would do. And then on top of that, he has high survivability. He can close in and get the kill fast with his diving ability. And then even by himself, the supernova is great. I love to see it. I'm going to be honest. After not seeing him at all, it's cool to see how good he is now. And I think that he's S tier for both, because he's not that hard to play either. He takes a couple games on how to like dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge. But outside of that, he's really easy once you get the flame walls down and the placements. And in low elo, people just, they don't know how to look up. They just don't. And so you've got that going for you too. So I think he's a great person, a great hero. And Johnny Storm is feasting this season. If you've been playing him, rejoice. If you haven't, start practicing. Which takes us to his sister, Sue Storm. And listen, if you're blonde and you're wearing blue, you're doing pretty good in Rivals right now. Not only do you have the stealth buff of Emma Frost coming out, so you have somebody else be mixed up with yourself yet again, you can survive so easy. Like a good Luna, who's also a very good hero, has to land her freeze and has to make sure that she does everything perfect to survive dive at times. Then you've got Invisible Woman who could just double jump and she's gone. Poof. Right? Her survivability is great. Her ultimate at a range, and you don't have to put yourself in harm's way. And then let's just talk about it. I think the thing that makes her the best is her push. Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, the push ability is single-handedly nerfed like 10 heroes. Doctor Strange, the list goes on. Wolverine. It's so good, and there's more and more maps that you can push people right off the map. There's just nothing. She continues to do everything you want as a strategist. And I love her. I love her. She's good. Anytime you get a very good Invisible Woman, hell yeah. And I'm pretty sure the new Elo system favors her, man, and gives her like a bunch of Elo. So you got that going too. S tier in high Elo, A tier for low Elo. All right, so I've been waiting for this one. We've got Iron Fist, who's been one of my new mains this season. And this guy's everything. You guys ever watch Jackie Chan Adventures with the Talismans? It's like if he had all of them and then he was put into this game. The guy could fly, he could dive, he could survive. You don't need healers because you have a self-regen, okay? You have incredible mobility. The cooldown on his kick made his entire gameplay loop perfection. His damage is crazy on squishies. His damage is even crazier on tanks. And his pressure and his survivability. He's the new Wolverine, I think, and his role and what he can do for each and every game. And because of that, oh, and just the little added factor if he can just punish flying units. I've got him in S tier for high elo, and I don't even bat an eye. I think Iron Fist is absolutely him this season. And in low elo, I'm going to put him up in B tier. You don't, I mean, yes, he takes skill to learn, don't get me wrong, but like you could just hold the attack button on controller or click the mouse, and he's just throwing haymakers, man. Harder than Mike Tyson. I feel like he is amongst the best DPS right now. Because of all the things I just said, he's got the total package. It's like Invisible Woman can do a bunch, but he can fly, man. Like he throws punches and he can fly. Now, speaking of flyers, we've got Tony Stark, the flying freaking lawnmower. This guy, outside of just, he's so loud. They've got to turn down the jets. He's got to upgrade his mock season after season. This armor is just not cutting it. He is so damn loud. The things that go well for Iron Man, obviously his ultimate can kill through support ults. That's great. He does pressure AoE damage. So I've got him, in B tier for low, and I've got him in C tier for high. Unfortunately, Torch is just going to be the better option. Storm after that. And Iron Man, his extra survivability is nice, and you can punish people more because of that in low elo. But in high elo, you just don't see him a lot, and that's because, well, you're going to kind of hear this about some heroes, and I guess it kind of starts with him, but not so much. But it's not that he's just bad, it's that his counters are better, right? And Hela is just going to punish the living hell. Iron Fist, good day, Iron Man. It's over. So C tier on the lower end, sadly, for high elo. B tier for the higher end. If you're doing great with him, hell yeah, man. But he's probably the weakest of the flyers, which is surprising because he got a lot of buffs, but there's just too much that's good against him. All right, it's that time again. We got Jeff, Satan's greatest soldier, every single time. Where do I put him? You can't put him too high, because then people start playing him too much, and then everybody's angry. The thing is, right now, a lot of the meta, because it's dive and whatnot, you've got heroes that are kind of dispersing away, and you got Human Torch up in the sky, and you have Spider-Man swinging around. Captain America is off in Marvel Rivals 2, and then Jeff, it tries to use the ultimate and doesn't do anything. So the team comps aren't great against him, but a good DPS Jeff is probably one of the heroes I fear the most. I think a great DPS Jeff I'd rather not play than an Iron Fist at this point. I've got him in B tier for high elo, but that can continue going on how good you are with the guy. He's so good, man. And then I'm gonna go with D tier for low. Not quite the lowest, because you can throw bubbles out and the ultimate's easier to get more, and his healing is pretty good. but not the best. And so he's somewhere there. I could probably put him in C tier for low, but I'm going to stick with D and B. All right, next up is by far the hero that I've got the most hours on. Doesn't even come close. I don't know about you guys, if you have Lord or you've played a hero so much that you don't even play him much lately because you've played them so much in the past, but I still play Loki. Now, hold on there, Cozy. Just one quick moment. This video is not sponsored by anybody, but I did want to just take a moment and say thank you guys for subscribing. Guys, we're at 100,000 subs now. Freaking awesome. But we still have almost 80. A lot of you guys, as you can tell from this graph, aren't subscribed. What's this? That's crazy. Understandable, but crazy. So if you haven't, go to subscribe. Helps me out a lot more than you might know. And yeah, now I'm going to leave before you unsubscribe. Goodbye. Listen, his survivability against dive is one of the best. In fact, his survivability in general is probably one of the best in the game because you should almost never die. It's kind of like Iron Fist. You just have so much helping you out. Clones and teleporting and pretending to be a clone, and then you've got your green circle that only got a small nerf on top of that. His ultimate's great. He's great. Hela is broken, so then you have that team up. Loki is a good Loki is the strategist you want on every team. I would say he's arguably the best in the game in high elo. He's S tier. He's staying in S tier for high elo. I think there's more coming his way, sadly. Him and Hela might get a little bit of a nerf hammer in season 2.5. But then in low elo, I always suffer with this. I'm going to stick with B tier. I think that there's just too many things that you have to think about and do correctly. The amount of times, like when the season kicked off and I was kind of amongst the just the chaos that was the reset. The amount of offensive ults I saw with Loki, it drove me crazy, man. And this is the tip I want to keep on giving. Just want to keep on, go to your settings if you play Loki, and there's a button that you can confirm your ultimate. Not only is it great because you don't accidentally copy the Emma Frost, but also you can kind of hang on to it just a little bit longer before you press the confirm button. It's great. Everybody should do it. B tier for low, S tier for high. Luna Snow, this is her concert, and we are all just attending. The ultimate will always keep her in the conversation of a very damn good hero. On top of that, she has like a good high skill ceiling because of her clap and able to actually put out respectable DPS, and her freeze to well-timed diving heroes and just eliminate them completely or stall a tank. But then on top of that, her healing, she's the healing goat. She's the heal bot, right, of rivals. She doesn't see a lot of nerfs. She kind of does everything great, and I think that she is the standard of a great hero within the game. And again, she's the headliner, man, the K-pop queen. On top of that, you have the snowflake you can give to your wandering soul. That might be an Iron Man, Human Torch, whatever it might be. And then if they're good at DPS, you can really just pocket them and carry. I'm going to go S tier for both pretty confidently. All right, next up is Magik, and she didn't get any buffs this season outside of her X-Men outfit. I think gave her butt a little bit of a... anyway, so the thing about Magik is she's the very definition of a great hero that has better counters. So I think she does so well, and her elimination and combo potential is through the roof. Unfortunately, you have flyer units like the Torch that just punish the hell out of Magik. So you've got that going, and everything that slows her down is just better than her at the moment. I think a good Magik can still do work. You don't see him all that much in high elo, although she can still do it and get the job done. I'm going to go B tier for both. That feels about right in the state of the game of what she's going up against. She's like Captain America of last season. It's not that she's bad, it's just that the meta and everything around her is good. All right, so Magneto is arguably still the best tank of the game. I missed the sword, don't get me wrong, but you're going to get the team up of the illusions way more because Emma Frost is that good. With Groot always banned, Magneto is always available, and he's who keeps Cloak and Dagger in check. Magneto not getting banned is what makes Cloak and Dagger that much worse at high elo play because he just slam dunks the meatball and they're dead. His damage, though, is great. His survivability is awesome. His shield is so underrated for what it can soak up and what it can do. It's one of the few things that don't charge at Emma Frost. Primary beam. I love Magneto, and I think that, yes, he took, the smallest nerf in the world to his ultimate, but it's still doing exactly what it does best. I'm going to have Magneto at the top of the top, S tier for both. I think he's easy to play, but then he's even better to perfect. He's just, man, having all that offense, but then being able to hold your ultimate for a defensive play or to bubble that Panther that's carrying the team. Like, he does everything that you need as the enabler. I just love him as like a shot caller for the team. He can one tank if he has to in low elo, and then in high elo, he's a great complement to Emma Frost. All right, guys, next up we have Mantis, and Mantis is going to go in B tier for high elo, sadly, and C tier for low. In low elo, you've got to land your shots too much, and the way her kit works compared to the other healers, I'm just not quite sold on, even with the good buffs to the duration of how her healing and damage stacks. But using the best of that is typically found in the higher ranks, and why I don't like her in the low ranks. You know what? I've been thinking on it, though. I've been stewing. With the health nerf that came to her, I'm convinced it's not even about Mantis. I think they buffed her, and then they thought, you know, we didn't hit Adam hard enough. Let's take it to Mantis. That's the only thing I could think of. Mantis, though, that, you know, she's obviously going to feel that a lot against dive. That's heavy in the game. Her sleep and whatnot, she has a lot of self-sustain, but I think there are just better support answers most of the time. The res comp, though, is still the res comp, and so that's going to keep her relevant. I'm going to say this, guys. I won't be surprised if Mantis shoots up the charts, at least in high elo. I think the duration and giving your DPS and letting your carry is going to be way more popular as we continue to head down the season. But right now, this is about where everything's at. All right, Mr. Fantastic, Reed. Oh, good God. Okay, they have tipped the scales to this guy. Now, if you've been watching these tier lists for a while, in low elo, he's always been in A tier. I've always put respect on what he can do in the way his kit works with survivability and punishing players and just everything you want in a duelist at low rank. Well, now, guys, he's S tier in low rank, no question. This guy is a menace in survivability. Combine that with Invisible Woman and that team up, he never dies. His damage, his reach, you know, pun intended, but kind of intended. He's the perfect amount of easy to kind of pick up and get going, but also very hard to master. I've got him all the way up in A tier for high elo because I think he does make that difference. I think that if it's obvious if somebody in high elo has been playing him for the past seasons because they know how to manage his big form and get out of it at the right opportune time. And it's kind of hard to tell that whenever you're playing against one, but a good one makes it obvious. He does have some hard counters, and I don't think he is the best duelist in the game, but he is a solid A tier in high elo, and he continues to climb, dude. This guy is shooting up the play rate charts, and then in low elo, he's the Peni Parker. Like, if you are struggling climbing, just continue to learn this guy. He's so good at matchups. I'm planning on doing these like really quick guides, like, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute guides so that you can kind of watch as you queue. And I think Mr. Fantastic might be one of the first to get one because he's so fun, he's solid, and the buffs did him great. He's the survivability GOAT. Love him. S and A tier. Next up, guys, we got Moon Knight. Got a slew of different buffs going into the season, and it did the world for him in low elo. I think that he's A tier in low elo and C tier in high elo. His problems are still his problems, right? So a good Psylocke, a good dive hero is going to punish Moon Knight, and you have to really practice patience and know what you're doing. But even then, I just think he's not meant to be a top DPS option in top level play. You know, paired up with Groot, you can still do that thing, but Namor's probably going to be a bit better there. But that being said, I think in low elo, he's actually one of the best heroes to pick as well. A tier, people are grouped up. They don't know how to get you. The dive play is way worse. Next up, we're going to be quick on Namor, but he lost the ice squids. He gained the gamma squids. And if we look aside from that, where do I've got him as well? I'm going to go S tier for low elo. He's still one of the best just DPS in low elo. He's, you know, you've got 2 heroes with you that constantly aim well. He is going to give you a lot of forgiveness against dive, and he's just great for constant pressure. Easy pick in low elo play. And high elo, I've got him in A tier. He's fallen down from S tier just ever so slightly. I still think he's absolutely cracked and does what he does well. He's the answer to dive still. The gamma squid is crazy good damage. You know, I think him and Luna paired up better for the wombo combo of ultimate damage up and then throwing out the big ultimate. So he's got kind of everything you want in high elo, and he's got all the forgiveness of aim in low elo, and so because of that, S and A tier. All right, so Peni Parker, guys, I've always been a believer in Peni on this channel, and then she got all these buffs, right? She can, you know, shoot faster, she can crit, she has, you know, much more survivability. But even with all these buffs, I don't feel like she's like broken or busted. I feel like this is where she should be, and that's why I've got her in B tier for high elo. I've got her in B in high, and I've got her in S tier, as we always do in low elo, low rank play. She's the noob stomper. People just, they have their blinders on, they run into the nest, or they just like, they don't respect the things Peni can do. If they have divers, you could play Peni, and then you put a stop to a lot of those heroes outside of maybe Iron Fist that knows how to get around it. Peni Parker is playable in so much more scenarios in low elo versus high elo. And on certain defensive maps, man, the Bunker Queen continues to do what she does well. Very solid on the rolls and niche where she is in high elo. But this feels about right. I like where Penny's at, and I'm excited for the future and you know, kind of where she's going to fit into the meta and potentially pro play. Moving right along, guys, we have Psylocke, who has kind of always teetered between S and A tier. And right now, she's definitely S tier. I think she's replacing, in my book, Star-Lord and what he did last season. She's constant DPS. I think she's gonna be one of the more popular picks that we see in pro team lineups. But also, Emma Frost gave her a hell of a team up, and it gave her so much more than it gave Magneto. She can survive more. There's just so much more pressure and damage output that she puts on. Her ultimate can either, you know, get those support ults out or get a key pick, elimination, pressure. But she does have a high skill ceiling. I feel like a bad Psylocke can lose you games. I have her in B tier for low elo because of just wandering off, maybe getting an elimination, but mostly dying. So B tier for low, S tier for high. All right, guys, we move on to Rocket Raccoon. And hey, I want to say this. I had him last tier list in S tier and low, A tier and high. Okay, before that, I had him in A tier. I've always been a Rocket believer. And back then, it was for the damage amplifier, getting through support ults, combining with Venom. But after the changes, I'm even higher on him. He has now earned the role of S tier in both low and high elo. He puts out so much healing even if he doesn't mean to. I mean, he is so easy to play, easy to pick up, is great for sustain and survivability, still has his mobility. His ultimate is fantastic. My God, the amplifier. People have learned to shoot equipment like onks on the ground and whatnot. Maybe not so much in low elo. I don't care if you're watching like pro level play, man. They don't shoot the amplifier, and it is so. This ultimate is so annoying. I'm starting to see rocket bans because people just don't want to deal with it. He's great for all the reasons. Still in low elo, healing from a distance. But now just how much burst healing this can do to keep himself and everybody else alive, it's ridiculous, man. It's a rocket for all. And it's most importantly a rocket for how 95% of people play the hero. And so I've got him, you know, maybe not in the top tier rocket guides. They played him differently with the damage stuff. But in this main environment, I'm looking at the main player base. S tier for both. Rocket is filthy, man. He's so good. Scarlet Witch mains, where you at? All right, guys, listen. You guys have been waiting. You've been waiting patiently as people flame you. They get mad at you for picking the hero. How could you? You're in the comment sections trying to say how good she is. Well, she's there. She's here now, guys. I think that Scarlet Witch is actually a complete nuisance. And I gotta say, on my bingo card for season 2, I did not have Doctor Strange being the weakest hero out of that team up. I mean, like, it's so funny now watching what Magneto's were. Like, hey, can I get a Scarlet Witch? Is now Witch to Doctor Strange. It's hilarious. Everything feels right, though. Yes, you know, she took a little bit of a nerf in her survivability with the phase in, phase out. But as you've gotten used to it, it's something you can get used to in your playstyle. Her damage is so annoying, man. I hate a good witch player. I do. I'm higher on her than most. I'm going to put her in B tier for high elo, which hey, call me crazy. I think that she deserves it. And I'm going all the way up to S in low elo. She reminds me of Mr. Fantastic. I mean, it's auto aim for one, right? The ultimate, people just don't escape it as well in low elo. And then you combine that with a team up that melts tanks and melts players. She's the perfect low elo player, and she's still very good in high elo. If you've been playing her, you've been patient, rejoice. This is the season of the witch. All right, next up we have Spider-Man in a dive meta, and this is a tough one. It's like the most popular Marvel hero and one of the most popular heroes to pick within Rivals. And most of the time that means with a lot of popularity comes people that suck at the hero. And in low elo, he's getting banned all the time because he's annoying, but also people don't want them on their own team. They don't want to deal with a bad Spider-Man losing the game. Yes, you can do a rollout and get to the enemy team in 5 seconds, but if you die, you're still feeding ult charge. You're still taking a long time. He just feels like in low elo, he doesn't have the impact, but in high elo, it's all the way there. Now, again, we're not talking about Smurflo, right? If we're talking about Smurflo, Black Panther, and Magik, and Spider-Man, they'd be much higher in low elo. I've got him in C tier in low elo, because that's usually the quality of Peni Parker that you get on your team. In high elo, I'm going to go with A tier. He's gotten a couple stealth buffs, and his survivability is awesome. His team fight and capabilities with Venom and the dive comp, just constantly what he kind of offers in a match. You know, I've seen him completely like 1v6 a team, but then also he can respectively fight with his team and get important picks and or distraction even if he's not getting eliminations. So A tier for high, C tier for low. All right, so Squirrel is another reason I made 2 tier lists. I've got her in F tier for high elo, and I've got her in B tier for low. Low elo, you just shoot the nuts, man. And what's that stupid skin called? Nut Rocker? That's what you do. And you're just completely throwing out haymakers, constant damage. But the damage don't turn into eliminations in high elo, and people know how to play around her and then punish her. And the ultimate can be tricky, but for the most part, you can make sure you get that. There's a couple maps and spots that the ultimate's crazy on, let me tell you. But for the most part, she's offering at the highest level of play in high elo kind of the least amount for the team, in my opinion. It's tough. I like her, and I think if you play her, keep playing her, because you're probably good at her. But looking at all the heroes, not the best. All right, guys, next up we have Star-Lord, who did take plenty of hits in his overall buffs and nerfs through not only himself, but Adam Warlock and Mantis. But then he also got a nerf in his fall-off range on his Blaster Barrage. And then the way that just gets things going for his ultimate and his play pattern. Still one of the best DPS. I think he could arguably be an S tier in high elo. I've got him in A for high, B for low. I think he still does everything he does well, but those nerfs did add up enough for me to kind of knock him down just a tad. A good Star-Lord, though, can completely carry. Ultimately, I think he still does what he does well, but just a little bit less than he did last season. All right, so Storm is going to be A tier for both, and it's crazy to think she is the second best flyer right now in Marvel Rivals, and that's mainly because of Torch and how good he is. That combo is awesome and all, but I feel like I would rather have a good 4 or 5 heroes before Storm on my team, but a good one left unchecked can get things done. Not much to say about her. She's kind of floating exactly where she's been ever since they toned her down a tad bit after season 1 and the dominance there. I like Storm. Mega Hurricane can do okay things, but I just feel like right now I'd much rather have a Torch on my team. That kind of sums up why I've got her down here at A and the presence that she brings. Not to mention a good Hela, is going to end her life. All right, so next up is Frank, Punisher, and I think he's kind of the median of DPS, if you will. I feel like in low elo, he can carry kind of crazy. Like his turret, dude, people just don't know what to do in low ranks against Punisher. Plus, you got the Rocket team up, Rockets in every game. He might as well just be a perma select in low elo. In high elo, I've got him in C tier. There's so many better DPS with high skill ceiling and reward that I'd rather play or have on my team. And losing Bucky with the infinite ammo, you don't have that triple Z comp as they used to call it. So I've got him in C, and then I've got him in A for low elo. All right, so the thing, I can never knock him. I feel like he's borderline B for low elo, but I'm going to give him A tier for both. I think that Emma is going to take his spot most of the time, and he doesn't have a way to protect himself a lot, right, in low elo, so you just get punished by constant DPS. But he still has the setup. Groot is always banned, so you can, set up different ultimates, and he has so much presence against other vanguards and leading the pressure. He does his role to perfection. He's not an S tier. He's not the best tank in the game, but he's also not at the step below in B tier. I would rather have a thing right now than Doctor Strange by a good country mile. Ben Grimm is going to get A tier for both. God of Thunder, guys. We got Thor next up, and he's S tier for sure in the skin department. I mean, they're pretty badass. Everything else, though, is not going Thor's way. I think in low elo, I used to have him in S tier. I'm going to knock him down just a peg. I'm going to knock him down to A tier in low elo. He's still a bully, good survivability, great damage. The higher you go up, though, the worse he gets. He's kind of like Peni Parker in that regard, and he needs something to change about him. If you're dominating with him, great. The changes they bring are going to make you that much better. But as of now, I've got him in C tier. I don't want to disrespect and put him in D tier, but C tier for high, A tier for low. Okay, so Venom, man. I think last season was the season of Venom, the symbiote season. Right now, he's still good. He's a B tier in both. I think he's a dive hero that can do a lot for the team and have that pressure and a good ultimate. But Emma Frost, that choke right onto the Venom's neck is lethal for the guy. And if he's trying to swing away and he gets choked, I mean, diamond form makes Venom's life hell. However, there's nothing like a great Venom with other good dive heroes, right? Like if you are playing Black Panther and a Magik and you got a Venom in there, you could go crazy. But man, I feel like he's dropped down a peg. I'd rather Captain America, which is crazy to say right now, in his role than Venom. B tier for both. He's pretty easy to play, but he's also one that can be rewarded on some maps with a lot of mastery. Bucky Barnes, the instant S tier for both Elos last season. Took 2 nerfs right to the face. I still hate playing against him, if that's fair to you Bucky mains out there. The hook is still a POS. I think the damage reduction and some of the fall off on his ultimate, it hurt him, but the huge increase on cooldown on his hook is what really took him down a peg. You know, if you're a dive hero, you still don't want anything to do with Bucky, and a good one can punish you. But I'm going to put him in A tier for high and A tier for low. He's going to go down just a touch from his glory days. I think I said it best in my last video. You know, every game you'd be going into a game like I'm him, and now you're mostly him, but not quite. Okay, last up, guys, we got Wolverine, who's got the same exact problem as Magik. A fine hero, but his counters are too popular. Emma and Magneto and the Thing. There's so much going against him in that department that, you know, one choke grab and Logan's dead. Short King's dying. I've got him in A tier for high, and for low, I've got him in C tier, mainly because there's not a lot of tank play, and even if there is, you're going to get punished even more so on Wolverine and how you play him. So he is still, I think, he's just, I would probably not play him in low elo compared to some of the other picks that you could get out of him. I think his fall off is being a bit exaggerated. He's still great, but he's just, there's too much counterplay with him right now. And he's buggy, and his rage stuff, it doesn't feel quite as good. So he's got some things going against him, but a good Wolverine can still do what he does great. But when the best Wolverine's not even electing to play him, I think that kind of speaks for itself. There you guys have it. That's my list. That's my opinion. Get the mob torches, the pitchforks down below. Let me hear your opinion. And until the next one, guys, happy rifling.